What is coughing? So, coughing is defined as a sudden noisy expulsion of air from the lungs. The function of coughing, it is a normal protective reflex to remove undesired material from the respiratory tract. Under the cough reflex, if there would be a presence of a stimuli, may it be chemical or mechanical stimuli, it will activate the cough receptors in the respiratory system, which are more numerous in the large airway. So, it is located in the trachea or the larynx. After that, the cough reflex, which are located in the vagus, trigeminal or glossopharyngeal, will carry impulses to the coughing center in the medulla oblongata. Then after that, through efferent conduction, it will be carried out in the vagus and it will supply the respiratory muscles, and a cough will now be produced by the animal. So here is the beneficial effects of coughing. It is the clearing of air passages, especially the trachea and the large bronchi. If your patient have a severe persistent coughing, especially when dry and unproductive, it may be harmful because it may cause dissemination of infection. Number 2, further exacerbate inflammation and irritation of the respiratory mucosa. Number 3, cause overdistension of the alveoli resulting in emphysema. Number 4, induce pneumothorax. And then the last one, increase weakness and exhaustion in the patient. Causes of coughing can be grouped into 3 general classes by the location of the cause. First would be the upper airway, second, lower airway, and the last would be cardiovascular. Under the upper airway, which comprises of the nose, nasal passages, and the nasal sinuses, it can cause pharyngitis and tonsillitis in dogs and cats. Under the lower airway, which comprises of the larynx, trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles, it can cause acute or chronic bronchitis or bronchiectasis in dogs and cats. Under the last class, which is cardiovascular, it affects primarily the heart. It can cause diseases such as left-sided heart failure or heartworm disease in dogs and cats. Moving on with the diagnostic plan, if you're planning to treat a cough, you should take the history of the patient and do physical examination. Under the history, other signs may be confused with coughing by owners. Signs such as gagging, vomiting, regurgitation, or expectoration of phlegm are often mistakenly reported as coughing. It is also important to ask about the pet's environment. If the animal has been in contact recently with groups of other dogs or cats, or they have been socializing with the groups of animals that is sick, because the likelihood of an infectious disease is increased. Environmental air pollutants should also be considered. For example, cigarette smoke, urban smog coming from factories or other industrial facilities may cause chronic coughing in dogs and cats. Asking if the animal has shown other abnormal signs such as depression, lethargy, dyspnea, exercise intolerance, or anorexia often will help one decide which groups of rule-outs should be pursued first. Certain characteristics of a cough may be of diagnostic value. A loud, harsh, dry cough is usually a sign of irritation or inflammation of the larynx or the trachea. In this illustration, it shows the lining of a normal larynx while the other illustration shows the picture of an inflamed larynx which has a thick wall. Thoracic auscultation should be done carefully in the coughing animal. Both the heart and lungs should be carefully auscultated. Abnormal lung sounds are often heard for the first time or intensified after the animal has a series of coughs. Crackles, wheezes, and increased normal breath sounds are commonly heard in the coughing patients. Cardiac murmurs and an abnormal heart rhythm may be auscultated in those animals with a cough caused by cardiac disease. Under laboratory evaluation, a complete blood count and differential serum biochemical profile in urine analysis should be done. A laboratory work should be done also in most patients with signs of fever, dyspnea accompanying coughing, depression, and anorexia. Under radiographic examination of the thorax is an extension of the physical examination in the coughing patient. Normal anatomy and disease conditions of the thorax are ideally suited for radiographic examination. Next would be electrophysiologic testing. In doing electrophysiologic testing, you need to use electrocardiogram. An electrocardiogram is a test which measures the electrical activity of your heart to show whether or not it is working normally. Other specialized tests such as echocardiography may need to be performed but are generally available only at referral centers. Last would be transtracheal wash. It is an evaluation of the lining of the respiratory mucosa from the trachea to the alveoli. It can usually be obtained from a proper transtracheal wash. This is done by penetrating the cricothyroid membrane with a commercial flexible polyethylene intravenous catheter placement device. It can be accomplished by using a tranquilizer, for example, ispromazine, and a local anesthetic. In small dogs and cats, many clinicians prefer to lightly anesthetize the patient with intravenous ketamine and diazepam and do transtracheal wash through a sterile endotracheal tube. The wash will usually be productive if the animal coughs vigorously during the procedure. Samples should be submitted for cytologic evaluation and culture sensitivity. Sterile isotonic fluid such as Ringer's lactate or a 0.9% saline solution should be used to do the wash. Symptomatic therapy of coughing. So under the symptomatic therapy, there would be cough suppressants, expectorants, and antihistamine. Under cough suppressants, we have here antitussive drugs, which are grouped into central and peripherally acting agents. Under the central cough suppression, it is achieved by depression of the medullary cough center. Whereas, in the peripheral cough suppressants, it acts by increasing the threshold of cough receptors, which are located in the larynx and trachea. Under centrally acting antitussive, it includes narcotic drugs, which example is hydrocodone bitartrate. It is a narcotic suppressant used in dogs. And under narcotic antagonists, we have here butorphanol tartrate or torbuterol. It is a centrally acting drug that is classified under narcotic agonist-antagonist. Under expectorants, these are drugs that increases the volume of respiratory tract fluid, thus promoting expulsion of secretion or exudates from the airways. Antihistamines. Antihistamines has beneficial effects such as sedation and drowsiness, and this allow the patient to rest.